everybody? I'm your Postmaster General here, and I'm sitting alongside three of the best entertainers in our business that are keeping the music alive. And that used to be a saying that was cliche, but actually it's not a cliche anymore. It's actually reality. These three gentlemen sitting with me at this table, the fabulous Duprees, give them a round of applause. They're really working hard to keep it alive. And in this industry, with the venues that are no longer available to us and things of that nature, to really go out there and hoof it out and to have the feeling of joy to entertain for you all is something that is a gift to us. It's a gift to us. Now some people say that, oh, we love you and you guys are so great, but I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for all of you out there, and even those who could not make this cruise with Primetime Travel, for whatever reason, we want to thank you sincerely. Thank you all very much. On behalf of Primetime Travel and Duprees and myself. Now, for those of you folks who've never seen me before, my name is Gerard Esposito. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I was born in a place in Newark, New Jersey called the Old First Ward of the North Ward of Newark. I was born on Cutler Street in a 6-family tenement house. And I think my family occupied 5 of those apartments. And it's the truth. And so, when I was younger, I fell in love with music. My mom Carmela, her family, they were all musically inclined. They were professional musicians. I don't know if anybody's ever heard the Bellis music before in Essex County, Newark area, but they were all musicians professionally, and they made a living out of it. And my mom was a singer. My mom was a singer before she met my dad. She once in a while she would sing at the local USO shows for the folks the guys and gals who didn't go to World War II. They used to have local shows, not only overseas but local shows. And my mom would go in there and dance and sing. With my uncle Pete, who was also a musician. And then I popped out because I'm a change of life baby. My mother was in her 40s. And so I popped out singing. And I fell in love with the Beatles at the very young age of, I think I don't know how it was, 19. I remember seeing the Beatles when they went to Shea Stadium. Yeah. So, you were there? You were there too? You're not that old. You're still with this guy? I can't believe it. But yeah, and so I fell in love with the Beatles, and then from that point, my brother Anthony, he was a playboy in the family. He'd hardly worked a day in his life. He used to run numbers for the wise guys in the neighborhood. And then he became a cop. So he used to fly back and forth to Vegas, and then with the Sinatra album, Sinatra autographs, go to New York City to Chili's, all this kind of stuff. And I fell in love with Sinatra. And the rest is history. And so, my wife's a little late because she wasn't feeling that well today. But she's getting dressed now. Trust me, she's getting ready. And she's going to make her grand entrance looking fabulous, I think. But the thing is that my wife and I, we really appreciate everybody for supporting us, because it affords me an opportunity to make a living to support my family for over 40 years. And so, on behalf of my entire family, who's also here, my sister, my nieces, and all that kind of stuff, I want to thank you all personally. I want to turn this over to the boys.
Well, I'm a Norker too. I'm from down that Ferry Street. Here's my paisan over here. And he was this tall when he started, when I met him. And now he's this tall. No, I love this guy. I love this guy. I always supported him from the very beginning. But you're right. We've worked hard at keeping this music alive. We've been in the business for many years. These two gentlemen, I happen to be with really two of the best in the industry. And if we had another person, it would have to be him. Because that's how much respect I have for him. But, you know, it's really all about the music, number one, and the fans who keep this beautiful music alive. So, you know, we always thank our fans. We always meet and greet our fans after every show. And, you know, we look forward to taking a few questions if you have them. We'd love to tell you what you'd like to know. And with that, I guess I'll pass this over to you. Huh?
Hello, everybody. Well, you know, when I started in this business, actually, right out of high school, we were four guys that were singers, and we sang our old school dances, and we sang on street corners, Rockaway, beaches, and, you know, that's how I got started singing in groups. But the first group I was with was a group called the Reveres. So we were four guys that just got out of high school. And we went into Manhattan. We wanted to see Bobby Darin. We recorded, or we had a rendition of Beyond the Sea. And it was sort of like a four-season type of thing. So we go to the Brill Building, and this is the true story. We go to the Brill Building, we go into the elevator, we wanted to go upstairs and see if we could see Bobby Darin and audition this song, because he had that song. He had that hit song, Beyond the Sea, at that time. So, we go in the elevator, and sure as hell, there he was, Bobby Darin, right there in the elevator. And we said, oh my God. So, my friend Paul, he says, we have a rendition of Beyond the Sea, would you like to hear it? He said, sure, come on upstairs. We go up into his office, and I couldn't believe it. We were in an office of Bobby Darin. He had the whole floor in the Brill Building. It was the Brill Building. And we sang Beyond the Sea. And he loved it. Next couple of days later, he recorded us under Jubilee Records. It was Jubilee Records. And it became the top 40. It was hitting the charts. It was starting to climb on the charts. And then, all of a sudden, 2 weeks they were playing it on the radio. The Murray the K Swing and Soiree, you remember? And we heard it every day. They played it every day. It was climbing the charts. And all of a sudden, there was a big bulletin. President Kennedy was assassinated. After that, the record took a dive. And after that, the Beatles came, and we were forgotten. But it was quite an experience to be with Bobby Darin. But I'll tell you the other experience I had, starting with the Duprees. I've been with them 32 years, and it's been amazing. It really has been an amazing ride. And I ended up with these two guys towards the end. We had other singers that sang with us, and we all sang with the original members. I sang with Mike Arnone, and I believe Phil Granito, and also Tommy Patillo. And one of the members left us, Tony Testa, because he wasn't feeling well, he wasn't up to do it anymore. And we said, let's just try to keep this going. And sure enough, for the last past 3 years, or 4 years, I guess, we're continuing the tradition, and it's been amazing. It's also been amazing, thank you. It's also been amazing because Tommy's wife, Marina Patillo, she really knows how to associate with people, and she got us a lot of gigs. She got us on this shit, and we're having a blast. So we love you guys, and thank you so much.
So,
I don't know. I don't know what to say. So what are we telling? Our quick history of what?
Tell me something about you.
Okay, I was born at a very young age. What? You know Gerard, right? Just like Gerard and Tommy, I was born in Newark, South Orange Avenue. I have many singers and musicians in my family. My grandmother and grandfather came from Sicily in 1900 and raised 11 children during the Depression in Newark, New Jersey. Can you imagine? 11 children during the Depression. My grandfather owned a grocery store. He was a landlord. He owned 2 buildings. And he owned a pool hall on Springfield Avenue in Newark. And that's how he supported his family. So I have a very large family. My grandfather was the organist at our church, St. Rocco's Church in Newark. He played mandolin, he played organ, he played the accordion. And so there's a lot of music in my family. I grew up with music, singing. My older brothers, I'm the youngest in my family. All my older brothers and my sisters, we all sang. My 2 brothers sang on the street corners of Newark, sang a cappella in the 50s and the early 60s. I was born in 1951, so I grew up with all this music. Early rock and roll, early rhythm and blues, all the doo-wop groups, we had all the records. I was raised by an aunt. She was into Frank Sinatra, so I heard Frank Sinatra my whole life. And I have to say, like I said, I grew up with Frank Sinatra, and no one does it better than Gerard Esposito, I'm telling you that. Anyway, I don't want to make this long, but I just want to say thank you so much for coming out and supporting us. It means a lot to us. We don't call you friends. I mean, we don't call you fans. You are our friends. Okay? God bless you. We love you. Thank you so much.
I thought you were going to give him a little synopsis of the Duprees. You know, like, how this whole...
Let me say, I do want to say something. I don't even know what synopsis means. I do want to say something. The Duprees, their first record, You Belong to Me, was in 1962. The Duprees have never, there's been many members. You had started out with the original members, and as the years went by, members have come and gone. But the Duprees have never stopped performing or recording since 1962. Tom, how many years is that? Is that 61 years now? I think that's 61 years of continuous performances. We never stopped recording, never stopped performing. I think that's something. And you got to remember, all through psychedelic music in the 60s, all through disco music, punk music to the late 70s, you name it, the Duprees never stopped performing, and we're going to keep going, right? Okay. There you go.
So, believe it or not, as a very young man, my brother had his albums, so I would put on his albums and listen to a lot of different music. But for some strange reason, the Duprees songs always had an effect on me. I studied the harmonies, and I loved singing the lead with Joey Mann, who was the original lead. But I guess, and then I worked with the group Parkway. My keyboard players, my very first keyboard player, Lenny Salerno's right there. We had a fantastic group with him. But, as time, I moved on to other things. And then 1978, the Duprees asked me to come in and perform with them. And I did for about a year and a half. In 1980, the group broke up, and that's when Mike Arnone formed the group with Phil and Jimmy and 2 other guys. And I think think the very first time I really felt like I wanted to do something was the very first time I walked out on stage with the Duprees Walker Theater in Brooklyn, New York, and first time in front of a huge audience. And I had no rehearsal because I knew all their songs. I would have to say that that was really when I knew that I was never going to stop doing it. So, and the song. I can't pick a favorite song because pretty much I love all the Dupree music. So, but do I have to pick a song from there? Geez, you know, My Own True Love, because it's such a timeless, beautiful love song. You know, that's it for me.
Okay, I'll go back. I was 11 years old.
That's a long time ago.
It sure is. So anytime I had company, my father would play the piano and I sang. That's how I got started. But I really loved, I was watching the Ed Sullivan Show. And there I saw Johnny Ray. Anybody remember Johnny Ray? And he sang the song Cry. And I said, oh my God, I said, I want to do that. And it was just incredible. You remember how that song went? If your sweetheart sends a letter of goodbye, it's no secret, you feel better if you cry. When waking from a bad dream, don't you think sometimes it's real, but it's only false emotions that you feel. Want to hear more? If your heartaches seem to hang around too long, and your blues keep getting bluer with each song, well now remember, sometimes can't be found behind the cloudy sky. So let your head down and go on, baby, and cry. That was my answer.
So what the hell was the question?
When did you know this?
When did I know?
When did you know?
I don't think there was a defining moment because I was alluding to it a little bit earlier. I used to shine shoes in all the gin mills and bars and taverns in my area. And the wise guys in my neighborhood, they used to give me quarters to put in the jukebox. And I'll never forget, I think I said this to the last show, I said, Summer Wind was D7. But way before that song came out, I knew really when the Beatles came out. I was a huge Beatle fan. And my wife, say hello to Margaret right there. Hi Margaret, how are you? She, as a surprise to me, she made reservations for the show last night, the Beatles story, at the theater. And I'll tell you something, I had tears in my eyes because I remember all those songs. So I was a huge Beatle fan. And I think at that point might have been, if I had to say a defining moment, I knew that would be it because I used to mimic. I used to mimic all the songs as I was shining shoes. I would sing Beatles songs. She loves you, yeah. In time. Man, at the time, those guys had the shiniest shoes, man. And then after a while, I got rid of the shoe shine box. I used to go into these stores, the pool halls and the bars, and these guys knew I loved to sing. And I used to go, they used to put you remember the old Coca-Cola boxes that were like wooden, not the plastic ones, the wooden ones. And they would let me stand on a Coca-Cola box, and somebody would literally play a song in the jukebox, and I would mimic the songs. But it's very hard to sing a Beatles song without a guitar. So my father heard about this, and my father was a very frugal man, and he got a baseball bat, and he put a rope from one end to the other, and I would go into these places, and I would use the baseball bat as the guitar. She loves you, yeah. I made a fortune. I made a fortune. Yeah, so that's true. Yeah, it really is. It's a story. So that was probably the defining time. But my favorite song, no disrespect to these gentlemen here, but my favorite song is a song called "Everlasting Love" by Larry Chance. You ever hear it? I knew he was going to do that. It's a song that he doesn't perform, but I'm not even sure. I'm so in love that I still don't believe it, even though I see you now. That one right there. Yeah. And I fell in love with that song because the lyrics are unique. They're very unique. And the thing was, I would always write on my cards to who at that time was my girlfriend and fiance and my wife. I would always write "Everlasting Love." And then when I heard that song, I said, holy shit, there's a song to that thing. Excuse my French, and that's probably it. Now you're gonna say, I know, what's your favorite Sinatra song? My favorite Sinatra song is on the Trilogy album, if there's any Sinatra fans out there. He did a rendition of MacArthur's Park. It's very short, it's very sweet, but the orchestrations are phenomenal. Not an easy, but I sing it. But MacArthur's Park by Frank Sinatra. So anyway, are you ready there, Pally Boy? Yeah. All right.
So what was the first question? To be honest, I never planned on being a performer or singer on stage, never in my life. I always tell people this was an accident, and I still feel that way. I believe in destiny, so it's not an accident, but I believe we're destined. But I grew up, I'm a music lover. I love all kinds of music, all kinds of singers, musicians. So when I used to watch Ed Sullivan or American Bandstand and see these great artists on there singing, I never, ever in my life thought that I had the ability to get on stage and sing. No. Because this, the singers I admired as a kid growing up were just phenomenal. These guys right here. When I hear these guys sing, I think, what the heck am I doing here? But I really never planned on doing this. This really, I will say it's a blessing. It's a blessing being with these guys and meeting Mike Arnone and having him ask me to join the Duprees was a blessing. But I'll tell you, something just came to mind that I'd like to mention about the Duprees. In 1966, I was 15 years old. I was born in 1951. The Duprees played at my high school in 1966, and I sat on the gym floor and watched them perform for an hour and 15 minutes. Little did I know, I was 15, little did I know that years later I would be up there singing with two original members. Later on that year, same year, 1966, my cousin Michael calls me and says, "Phil, I'm going to go see the Duprees and Vito and the Salutations at the Wallington Bowling Alley in Wallington, New Jersey. Do you want to go?" I said, "Definitely." So that same year, I saw the Duprees again perform at the Wallington Bowling Alley. And on that show was Vito and the Salutations. And guess who Jimmy used to sing with? Vito and the Salutations. So anyway, that's just a little side note I thought you'd be interested in.
The song.
The song went like this. Come here. Stand up, Jen. Stand up. All right. You ready?
Gerard, get it out. I don't know this song.
Bo, 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 bo.
Oh, my love, my darling, I'm hungry for you. Time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much for you. That's it.
Yeah. And then, you know what? Another thing you don't know is that Phil used to sing with Frankie Lyman's Teenagers before he came with the Duprees, which was amazing because they were unbelievable. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, yeah. And there was something I wanted to say and I forgot, but that's okay.
Now, I don't know if some of you folks remember or not, because it was local cable TV in Essex County, New Jersey. There was a little TV show, and this man over here, Tommy, used to have a TV show, and it was one of the best. This thing should have been produced with like a network. That's how good it was, because he was able to bring on all in those days. That was the nostalgia eras, the resurgence of the nostalgia, right? He brought on so many wonderful performers and producers and everybody in the entertainment business, and he was an absolute joy to watch. I go on YouTube, and what was the name of the show at the time? Jersey Music and Video Spotlight. Check it out on YouTube. Tommy was absolutely wonderful. I keep telling him every time we get a chance to meet each other, I said, "You've got to do this again." Honestly, you do. I mean, because it's just it's something when I was a kid at that time, because you're old, right? So
I'm older.
you're old in the water. But no, it's a wonderful show. I encourage you to go check it out on YouTube. I just wanted to say that. It was stuck in my craw a little bit. I was just trying to find the opportunity to mention that. Go and check that out on YouTube. You really enjoy those old nostalgia shows that he used to put on. Is there any questions? Do we have any questions for anybody? Anybody got any questions? Social security numbers and things of that nature. Well, you pretty much know you all. You know, we're all good. Anybody have a question for myself and the Duprees? Anybody? We're good. We're gonna have cocktails. But before we do that,
You know, how many people think that this is a really nice thing to do? You know? Susan, she did a wonderful job. Thank you, Susan. This gentleman over here was doing it for how long now? 7 years. Wow, okay. So please tell your friends, tell other people about what we're doing here, and let's try to get more people involved. Susan, here you go.
And the four of you sing a song together, a cappella.
all right. I'm gonna sandbag these three guys. Last time I asked Tommy to sing a song with me at one of my shows, I sandbagged him, and the song and the music was not in his key. So, is this the only microphone we have? my own true love. At last I found you, my own true love. No lips but yours, no arms but yours can ever lead me to heaven's door. I roam the earth in search of this. I've known you from your kiss, and by your kiss, you've shown true love. I'm yours forever. My own true love. My own true
The fourth Duprees! We found him!
You're hired.
He's hired.
Thank you, God bless.